Hello family, I am on the Norwegian Breakaway, and tonight for dinner I went to the specialty restaurant, the Ocean Blue, which is a seafood restaurant. I did have the specialty dining package, but in other occasions it would be a la carte restaurant. And so what did I have? You know that when I do a review of restaurants, I do it on a scale of 1 to 5. So for appetizer, I had the pan-seared scallop with caramelized pork belly and anise spicy soy glaze. Sounds delicious. The only problem I had with this dish was that it needed a little salt, maybe a little salt on the scallops itself, because it wasn't really getting, even though it was the pork belly, it wasn't really getting a lot of salt from the pork belly. But I like that sauce of the anise spice soy glaze. I think they needed to add more of that sauce. It kind of was just on the plate, but it really wasn't enough of it. And when you had that with the sauce, it really did kind of elevate the flavors, but it was missing something individually. Like when you have the scallop by itself, it was missing something. The pork belly was missing something, and so I just felt like it just needed a little bit of salt. And I'm always one about being able to eat things individually, and collectively as a whole it just brings it to another level of flavor. And so because of that, I had to give this appetizer a 3 out of 5. It was just missing the mark for me. Then for super salad, I decided to have the clam chowder. The clam chowder had bacon, which is common for a lot of people to have bacon in their clam chowder. For the clam chowder, right away I could tell I had to add salt and pepper to it. It needed some salt to it to bump up the flavor, and when I did that, it was delicious. Because of that, again, because I had to add something to it, doctor it up, to make it even taste better, I had to give it a 3 out of 5. So far the common thread that's happening here is that it needs salt. It's not that it was bland or the food is bland altogether, but so far it needs some more salt to bump up the flavor. And so for the main course, I decided to have the fisherman's platter. And so it has a combination of things which you can have either fried or grilled, and so I mixed up the combination. So they have the catch of the day. The catch of the day happened to be codfish today, and so I decided to have that fried. It includes shrimp, which I decided to have that grilled. It included calamari, which I decided to have that fried. And it included scallops, which I decided to have that grilled. Now, when it came to the fish needed salt. It was battered, but it needed some more seasoning. It just laid flat on the seasoning. And when it came to the shrimp was delicious. The calamari, it needed something more. It just was missing something. I felt like when I did squirt the lemon over it, it brightened up the flavors, but something was still missing. That remoulade sauce that comes with it was so delicious, but I don't want to be able to eat things and only have the flavor of the sauce. It should be great flavor in the protein itself, in the food itself, before you even add the sauce to it. For sides, I had french fries. The french fries needed salt. Adding ketchup to it obviously added some salt to it. I also had a side of coleslaw. And then I got an extra side of coleslaw and jasmine rice. Now, if you ever tasted jasmine rice has some great flavors to it. That's why I like to have jasmine rice. But when I had the jasmine rice, it was like they didn't add any salt to it. So that the flavors of the jasmine rice, which should have been floral and flavorful, it just laid flat. And so for this fisherman's platter, I had to give it a 3 out of 5 once again. Just middle of the road, just missing the mark. And then I decided to have for dessert what they called a vanilla cheesecake in a jar. and so it had raspberries with it, and so it was very soft to the touch. So like if you ever had a cheesecake, you know, there it should be some pull. Not everything is just so soft. So it was very soft, and then that raspberry, um, you know, raspberry gets caught up in your teeth, and so therefore the flavors were there. I just felt like something needed to be different to really like take it over the edge. It had the consistency of it. The graham crackers was at the bottom, but it was powdery. It wasn't like whole, and you know, it was very powdery, and the flavors were there, but it just was missing something. So for the dessert, once again, I had to give it a 3 out of 5. Otherwise, I love the waiter that I had. He was very attentive. I liked the ambience of the place. So I thought it was a good dining experience. Was it the best dining experience in terms of food? No, but it wasn't a horrible experience. It was, the food was not awful. Maybe somebody else would taste it and thinks it's just perfect. That the flavor profile is different, but for my palate, I felt like it just needed a little something. So if you have gone to Ocean Blue before, let me know what you think of the restaurant. What did you have? Is it different than what I had? So let me know what you think in the comments. And in the meantime, do me a favor, family. Can you like, comment, click on the notification bell to be informed of future posts. And until next time, happy travels.